Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right, welcome to June 7th, 2021's version of Law and Disorder. As often happens, the host is Ken Goldberg, and I've done a study of this, and I know now why. Because I'm Ken, I'm the one that sets it up, and if I don't do it, nobody does. Thus, it is not happenstance that I'm the host each night. It's really very predictable. Yep. Hi, Ann. Thank you for checking in. Rachel and Kathy. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Have a seat. Relax. Have a glass of water. Have a soda. Have a glass of wine if you choose. I don't drink wine, so I won't be joining you. I don't drink beer. Did I ever tell you all that I've never had a beer in my entire life? Not a single beer. I have never had a sip of beer. I have never had a desire to taste beer ever. Number one. Number two, I have never, how do I say this? I have never drank wine since I was 16 years old and drank some wine at the Point, 55th and the lakefront. I sat there and had wine. I started at the school, Central YMCA that day, got back to Hyde Park, and we went out and got another bottle of Richard's Wild Irish Rose, went out to the Point, me, Bill Stibe, and I think Norman Acom or Jimmy Childs, I'm not sure which. We drank another bottle of Richard's. I drank one with the boys at school. And I think that was the last day. I may have had some MD 2020 with Gary Corsi one day when we were sitting out at the Point. But other than sitting at the Point one or two times and drinking some cheap ass wine, I've never touched wine again. Not red wine or white wine or pink wine, not old wine or new wine. Drinking beer is like paying to pee in one end and out the other. Now, obviously, since I have never drank beer, I'll have to go along with that. I do know that when I've been places with people drinking beer, they often say, "Oh, I gotta pee now." So, I'm guessing it's probably pretty true. I have never understood the attraction of beer, and I'll tell you why. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you. I've never thought beer was worth the effort. First of all, it doesn't have enough alcohol to do the job. I really never drank for the taste. I don't care what it was. I drank. Over the years I settled on vodka, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you how smooth the vodka. And I drank some top shelf stuff, right? But at the end of the day, to be honest with you, all the vodkas pretty much tasted like alcohol. What I liked about vodka was with a little bit of orange juice, just a smidge of orange juice, you can make it palatable. So I settled on liquor because it did what I wanted it to do. It got me high. I don't get people that sit around and talk about alcohol, sip alcohol. And I don't mean because I'm an alcoholic and they're not. I mean, I don't get that. I don't get the fun of sitting around with it's a wine party, a beer party, whatever it is. My daughter told me, my youngest, she used to go play something like Dungeons and Dragons, a card game, with some of her pals from high school after they got out of high school. And they were in college or something. And she said the boys, she was the only girl that would go. The boys would always get these these premium brews, beer from a place that's local called the Guitar and Growler. And she said they would come back, peach flavored beer and stuff. She said there was actually, occasionally she'd sip it and she'd say, oh, the peach flavor wasn't bad. She said, but then a couple minutes later, the aftertaste sucked. So she doesn't like it. She told me the only thing, the closest she comes to drinking alcohol is a virgin margarita. So I'm never gotten, Chris says he was a big fan of scotch. I have been with guys sitting around drinking scotch and talking about it like it was something worth talking about. And if I was sitting there, I went to my own little private place. I don't know where I went, but I can tell you, la 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 la. I wasn't interested. I'm not knocking those of you that do it. I'm just saying that Ken Goldberg has never been a participant. And now, there was a day or two in my life when I might have discussed the value of potato vodka over grain vodka because I was a fan of potato vodka because it didn't make me quite as headachy. But other than that, I leave me out, man. If I'm sitting and drinking, kids, here's some insight. I'm looking to get a buzz. I ain't looking to sniff, taste. I don't need a sommelier or I don't need nothing but a tall glass filled with vodka with a smidgen of orange juice. All right. I have no idea how you all got on that subject. I know you didn't start it. I don't know how I got on it. Oh, well, crap. It's gone now. So, on with the show. So, here we are. It's June 17th, and most of you have had a hot day. If you're in Arizona, it's hot. If you're in Texas, it's hot. Chris is in Indiana, and I call him. How you doing, Chris? Oh, it's really nice here. It's kind of cool, and there's a fresh breeze. It's not too hot. Like, yeah, go screw yourself. But he's way there. I don't know how Florida is. I heard it's been okay. So Kathy may be luxuriating in the basking, even in the Floridian weather. I don't know. But I went for hours, and I'm going to get into this now. By the way, so this is a taser. This is a real taser. This is a civilian version, a consumer version. That is, a police version is larger and a little slightly more powerful. But this is not cheap. This is a civilian version. And if I take off the safety, okay, you'll notice immediately a flashlight comes on and a laser. I have to do that. I don't know how to do this so you can see there. No. You can't see the laser in this. Okay. So that was a stupid thing. Got to be 90 today. Well, that's nothing, Chris. Don't even go there. So here's the thing. I carry a firearm when I bicycle because I don't know about the rest of you, but there's some road raging people out there. And if you're going to ride a bike for hour, you're going to have to get in the street if you're me. And I went north. There's no way you can avoid getting in the street if you're going to be on your bike for an extended period of time. I took a lot of bike trails today, but they're not all linked, so I had to be in the street. So anyways, I'm just telling you, I bike a lot, and I run into some road ragers. So this morning, somebody zoomed up behind me, came too close, cut in front of me, and I reached for my gun, and I had accidentally brought my taser. I now know how that happened, but at the time, I'm like, dang. I don't want to get in a gunfight with taser's okay. They're expensive, by the way. All right. Kathy says she's been staying indoors because the high was 88 and it's probably high humidity. And Kathy's never really been an outdoor girl. I mean, I don't even remember seeing her at the point. So Kathy's coping by staying indoor with the air conditioning. So welcome everybody. You're all experiencing climatic episodes, some to the good, some to the bad. We're going to talk about Ken to the bad. So here's the thing. You'll see that I post a lot of bike rides, and you don't really have to look at them, but I'm posting them anyways, kind of for posterity, because if you post something on Facebook, whether it's a photo, whether it's a video, whatever it is, it's sort of preserved, right, on Facebook until you get kicked off Facebook. Nobody can see anything. All right, but in the meantime, you get reminders. Oh, look, 10 years ago, you were at a funeral for a friend or whatever, right? And so it preserves. So I really just do it kind of to preserve it, because if I stack them all up on the internet, not on the internet, in the cloud or something, I'm going to forget to look at them, and I wouldn't be sharing them. So I share this stuff, right? And so, man, oh man, I got up this morning. I left the house at like 6:20. You saw on my Facebook, I said this, and it was cool. It was sweet. I mean, I actually felt a slight chill. I wasn't wearing a jacket, but I wear a long sleeve when I'm going on a long ride. And I was like, man, this is the perfect time to ride a bicycle. By the way, on Saturday, I leave at 5 a.m., but, during the week, I don't do it. So I went and I led meditation, and then I went to my AA meeting. I came home. I filled up my bags with water and fruit and snacks and everything, and got out of the house. And I thought, oh, it's late, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay? Wrong. It was bad. It was bad the whole time. It was hot. It was humid. Here's the thing, kids. I couldn't walk for 4 hours in this heat. I couldn't run. I could barely ride, but I could ride. And here's the thing. I just load up with enough water and energy stuff to just do it, right? Here's why I do it. 2 reasons. One, of course, I do it constantly for fitness. That's my primary motivation, because as I have confessed to you repeatedly, I am Ken, and I am an overeater. Anybody who knows me, anybody who lived with me can tell you it's not fanciful. I am an overeater. So I enjoy fitness. So if I don't do something, I'm 300 pounds. All right. And the other thing is I sort of enjoy being out, and miles and miles of smiles. People wave, you wave, animals wave. I saw 2 little kitten bobcats today. I'm pretty sure they were bobcats. I was riding along a creek in Allen, Texas, and there was a sidewalk. On the left was an apartment building. On the right was the creek, and there was a lot of foliage, a lot, right? It's very thick. I couldn't see the creek, but I knew it was there. And there were these 2 little kittens in front of me, and I'm like, oh, that's cute, but not cute, because kittens ain't supposed to be on a bike trail. And I'll tell you why, because that means nobody's got any control of them, and they're vulnerable. And I looked at them, and they were kittens, but I think they were bobcat kittens because of the way they just the way they look. Now they ran off into the foliage when they saw me coming. I must look quite big. I'm on a bicycle. I'm a human. They're just these little cute little kitties. So, but that's kind of cool. And people that get in their cars and drive to where they're going and do their business and get in their car and drive back are missing a certain something, je ne sais quoi, that I get to enjoy, which is, smelling, seeing, even tasting sometimes the outdoors. I wish I could swim, because swimming is the ultimate fitness exercise. I have watched swimmers These guys have the aerobic capacity of something that's beyond human. I mean, a real swimmer, right? I mean, because they're in the water. Breathing is everything. You know, when you're on a bicycle, breathing is not that important. Your pedal, your cadence is a lot of it. So I've known a lot of swimmers over the years. And when I was doing triathlons, I hated the swim, but you had to do them. Otherwise, you can't compete. And I used to train occasionally with this Chicago fireman who had been a collegiate swimmer. And this guy was just like ripped, just ripped. And I first noticed him in the weight room because he was doing sit-ups with a 25-pound weight on his chest. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I got to be friends with him, and we would run and bike sometimes. And I didn't swim with him, but he didn't have to train near as hard as I did because his aerobic capacity, and not just him, the other swimmers I knew, they get out of the water and with far less training would excel on the bike and the run because their aerobic capacity was so significant. So I have tremendous respect for swimmers. I took swim lessons as a kid, and then somebody tried to drown me, and I stopped swimming. But later on in life, when I was about 33, I got involved with a guy who was teaching swim, and I never took to it. I even joined a master's group. I went one day. I didn't belong there. I mean, you know, they say, well, all levels. Yeah, when they said all levels, they didn't mean me because even the slow people were swimming over me. So, anyways, swimmers, cool. I'm a biker. I'm out there beeping my air horn, waving, cussing, smelling, tasting, looking. It's all good. It's all good. But it's hot as hell. And if I don't bike now, I sure am not going to bike when it's 110. I must bike into the weather. If I'm to bike around the year through the various seasons, I must bike all the time. Otherwise, I lose my momentum and I lose the desire to get out. I mean, if I don't bike for a month and then it's 110, I'm gonna go, oh my God, it's too hot. But if you're biking now when it's 95, feels like 103 according to the weatherman, whatever, it makes the transition easier. It doesn't make it easy because Lord knows I would rather be bicycling in 75-degree weather every day of the year. Becky, you were on a swim team for years. So here's a little anecdote you remind me of. I went to South Shore High School on the south side of Chicago for freshman and sophomore year. So I went out for the swim team. I don't remember why. It sounded like a good idea at the time. I was a freshman. And I went out for the swim team, and you had to swim. They had a timer, and you had to qualify for the swim team. So you had to swim a lap, I think it was, in a period of time. And I never had any formal training, but I thought, you know, let's try this. And I missed by maybe a tenth of a second or something like that. It wasn't much. Maybe it was a second. And what I realized subsequently is I was at a distinct disadvantage being 2 years younger than the next swimmer, than the next any of the swimmers. I should have appealed. I didn't, so I was never on a swim team. And South Shore had a well-regarded swim team, by the way, of which I played no part whatsoever. Becky, I'm sure that you were an attribute to your team, both as a swimmer and as a colleague who probably infused enthusiasm into your teammates with your good attitude. All right. So where was I going with all that? Oh, just that it's challenging right now. It's the changing of the seasons. We went from winter to almost spring to now summer. And I have to keep biking. So I went 50 miles today. I stopped at the bike shop because my gears are beginning to stick, and I thought, I'm going to take it in one day. And then I thought, just route yourself right by the bike shop. So don't tell anybody. What I'm about to tell you is confidential. You must keep this under your hat. Does everybody promise? Raise your right hand. I promise. Okay. So I'm waiting in line for the service guys, right? So you get in this line and they come up. So what do you need, sir? I said, well, my gears aren't shifting as smoothly. Could somebody look at it? And and then whatever. There's a dialogue, and then they say, yeah, I can fix that. Just wait a few minutes. Let me adjust it. Or, you're going to have to bring that in and leave it with us for us to really properly diagnose and or repair. Okay. So I'm waiting in line. I step out of line. You got to keep this to yourself. I go in the back through another way to where the service guys are, and I see my guy. My guy works on my bike a lot. I'm like, yo, my guy. I'm not gonna call his name. I don't want to get him in trouble. I said, do you have a moment to look at my bike and ascertain if there's something wrong with the gears or the brakes and the tires? Just, I'm not asking you to repair it. I just want to know, is this something that needs to be? And he said, just bring it around the same way I snuck in. He said, go get your bike. And he immediately said, oh man, your gears are off. Let me make an adjustment. It'll be temporary. You need new cable. Okay. And then he said, let me test right. He came back. He said, your brakes are shot. I have disc brakes. Your brakes, I didn't know this. I don't know when my brakes are shot. So my brakes are shot, kids. Bike's got to go in for a brake replacement. And we didn't deal with the tires. I don't remember why. So I'm sitting there. He said, well, why don't you go sit down in the break room? Okay. And thanks, Becky. It's a true sentiment, but it's not completely true because I almost said his name. My guy doesn't service the service line. He wasn't today, right? So what I did was I pulled him off of another job. The guys waiting in line were still going to be seen by the kids who man the front counter, right? Okay. So here's the thing. I bribe these guys with pie. I bribe the service techs with apple pie. It's a simple system, kids. Okay. So I got in, I got out. I got to go back and leave my bicycle with them if I want them to do the brakes, because that's going to take some time. And then at the same time, he's going to replace the cable. He said he thinks I've stretched it out. Okay. Or two. Fortunately, I have a spare bike or two. Yes, exactly, Chris. So Chris is bringing up the point that I will take my bike in and it will be there for 3 days. But I do have some backup bikes, and I'm going to rely upon that. So you didn't come here today to talk about bikes. You didn't come here today to talk about me getting overheated. You people who are listening to this podcast came because you hoped to be either amused or edified, educated, something motivated you that's slightly above the level of, I want to hear Ken talk about how hot it was today. You don't need me. I ain't no meteorologist, man. No. Okay. So here, this is going to be like a commercial break. I'm just down with this. Listen to this, man. That guy is really good. Listen, here's the thing. That was one guy, one organ, and the camera work is good because you can see his footwork and his handwork. Like the last couple of seconds was exclusively footwork, but you couldn't tell unless you were watching it. So I just posted the link to that. Here I found a way to kill 26 minutes. Look at this. This is a taser. Let me explain a taser. So this is a non-lethal weapon. Have we done this before? You know what's frightening? Listen, back up from the taser a moment. Okay, so I'm heading home, okay, today. And I'm like, let's see, I'm doing this big circle. I do it purposefully, you know. And at some point, I'm going to come back to where I started, and I'm going to have to be on the same trail I started because I chose shade. I tried. I didn't choose shade. Listen, those of you that ride or walk or whatever you do, by noontime, it's brutal, no matter what, because sun's up. It's very hard to get shade at noon, but I was going to be out at noon. So I knew right from the get I needed trees as much as possible. So I chose a route that, while there's not a lot of trees, more trees than some routes. And so on my way back, I'm like, where I couldn't remember how I got out. I'm coming back and I don't know how I got out. And I kept trying to remember what route did I take going north. And my computer will show you lines showing where I was, but only a small portion of it. And I could see from my computer that I was merging with the way I'd come out. So I thought, okay, well, you know for sure you were on this trail this morning. Do you remember? OMG, I don't remember this morning. I do not kid you. I don't remember how I got from point A to point B, from point B to C and C to D and da, da, da. I got that. But how do you, I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 hours later and I don't remember. Okay. So that was kind of scary. I mean, it wasn't like anything bad was going to happen to me. The bad thing had already happened. I had forgotten how I got there. All right. So less than lethal force, right? So I bought this for 2 reasons. One, it is not intended to kill, unlike my other weapons. Most of my weapons are intended to cause great bodily harm, which ultimately can result in death. I'm not looking to kill anybody, but I am looking to cause somebody to stop messing with me. I used to carry a small 22, 8-shot 22. Now, 22 caliber, I don't have one with me. I'd show it to you. It's a tiny bullet. And I used to carry this, and people would say to me, oh, what are you going to do with that 22? My answer was, shoot you. I'm going to make you bleed. I don't have to kill you. I just have to hurt you enough that you want to leave me alone. And I got 8 shots, so I'll shoot you 8 times if necessary. And if that doesn't do it, you're probably going to bleed out chasing me afterwards, right? So I don't need a big weapon. I don't. I just need to be accurate. So I acquired this despite its cost because I felt like there are times, but you have to be carrying it, and I don't always carry it, but there are times when I go places where a gun is inappropriate. It may even be prohibited. Areas where they say firearms are prohibited pursuant to the law. But that doesn't include tasers, by the way. Okay? This taser can send out 2 wires with hooks on the end approximately 15 feet, and the laser that you weren't able to see, I don't think you could, will show you where it's pointed. And then when the two wires attached to the human or the beast, an animal if necessary, that is threatening you, and you are generating electricity down those wires to the recipient. Now, in Chicago, you must be aware that in the winter, when everybody's dressed up like Eskimo, or is Eskimos not appropriate, Inuit, that it's possible that the electrodes, those hooks, will not go far enough and touch the skin, which will neutralize the value of a taser. But I live in Texas. Ain't nobody walking around in some big old fluffy down jacket, hardly ever. Now, if for any reason you miss the target, you fire 15 feet and you can't hit the broadside of a barn from the inside, guess what? You still have a weapon. Watch me shoot myself. It serves as a stun gun if you have discharged the electrodes. See? If those were discharged, I still have, and I think it's sticking. Anyways, doesn't matter. I don't intend to use it on me. So, but now, to use that stun gun element of it, you'd have to be at contact distance. You have to touch the person. I like the 15 feet. You stay away from me. Don't come near me. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Pow! Okay? Why am I talking about tasers? Perhaps you wonder, how does Ken's tortured mind, how does he show up at 6 p.m. and talk about things that, how do they even get in his repertoire, right? Phaser on stun. That's a Star Trek thing, isn't it, Becky? I'm guessing, but I think so. So, and by the way, I don't know where the electricity is coming from. I looked up to see if there was a battery I needed to replace from time to time. So I went online, and I don't see any reference to battery replacement, nor do I see a place for battery replacement, but there must be a battery somewhere on this thing. I probably should do more homework. All right. So if you shock yourself, I will laugh. All right. Well, I said you came to be amused, Chris, so here we go. No. It's got a safety on it, so it doesn't accidentally go off. Okay. This right here is a safety. And you see, as soon as I turn it, the light comes on. It's ready to go. Okay. I'm sorry you can't see the laser beam. So I bought this, and I posted on Facebook about 4 years ago and said, hey, look, I got a non-lethal weapon. And then this guy, Russell, in Chicago, young black man, it's not a young black man, it's my age. He was a young black man when I was a young white man, says, oh, so you got that to electrocute young black men. I thought, well, that's a quantum leap. But I just told him, yes, that's exactly why I got it. And I thought he would unfriend me. I mean, if you're a black man and you think that I'm buying a taser to electrocute young black men, I don't know why you'd remain friends with me. But he is. And I have to lament, I have not been able to electrocute any young black men or young white men or young Asian men or Latinos. I'm kind of disappointed. Here's the thing about non-lethal force, which is pepper spray also. Might as well talk about this stuff. I'm an expert at at use of force. Police have this um, continuum of force that they're supposed to study and understand. They don't. You know that. They don't know how to do anything mostly but shoot a gun. Sometimes they'll use a taser. But here's the thing. I used to tell people, if you can get out of trouble by pepper spraying somebody, that's really good to do. Why? Because as a criminal defense lawyer, I want to tell you, you pepper spray somebody, that's an assault. Whether it's justified or not, it is an assault. It's a battery, really. You've you've had a violent contact with somebody. Maybe it's not a battery. A battery is an unlawful touching, and I'm going to argue that you have a reason to do it. But you're going to be charged with battery, and they're going to say, "Well, you shouldn't have pepper sprayed him." Well, I've done homicide cases, I've done assault cases, none involving pepper spray. But here's what I know: I'm your lawyer. We get to court. The victim gets on the stand, which they don't do in a murder case, by the way, gets on the stand and says, that guy sitting over there, the defendant, pepper sprayed me. Now, immediately after you've been pepper sprayed, your eyes begin to burn and your nose begins to generate excessive amounts of mucus. It's not uncommon to have long streams of mucus coming from your body. Okay, an hour later, you look normal. You get to court, you are the victim, the jury's sitting there looking at you, you look normal. I mean, how bad could you have hurt him? It looks like a normal human being. If you shoot them, they're going to have all kinds of medical stuff. They'll have if you shoot them and kill them, they're going to have the corpse, a picture of the corpse. They're going to have a morgue shots. Oh my God, and then they'll bring in the coroner to testify that you killed this person, that you are the cause of death, not that you killed, you're the cause of death. So taser, like pepper spray, I tase you today unless I handcuff you and place you on your stomach and sit on you until you're dead. That's a police trick. You're going to appear in court and you're going to say, that guy, the defendant, he tased me. But the day you're testifying in court, you look good. You look normal. And the jury's going, I don't know if it's that big a deal. Why did he tase you? Oh, you were being a jerk. Well, I'd have tased your ass too. Okay? I don't trust safeties. There is a story there. Well, sometimes safeties fail. It's true in all weapons. And so we have some rules in weaponry, especially with firearms. One, never point your firearm at anything you're not prepared to destroy. So if this was the barrel of the gun, you don't point it at friends, you don't point it at furniture or TVs unless you're trying to get rid of them. Two, your finger is always off the trigger until you're ready to fire. So when you see the movies, they're always walking around like this. No, man, you walk around like that. If you walk around like this and you trip, you're going to shoot whoever in front of you. Might be the police officer that two of you went in together, both cops. Cops used to shoot each other in the back all the time. Now they're trained to keep their finger indexed. All right. Three, know what lies beyond your target. Okay. So if you're going to shoot at a target, a paper target, you and your friends went out to the forest preserve and you're going to shoot, you better know what's lying on, because when a bullet goes, it keeps going. And the fourth rule, and I'm taking them out of sequence, every firearm is always loaded. So I used to teach firearm safety, and I would say, if you were dry firing, that means if you had your firearm and it didn't have any bullets in it at all, and you were sitting there, because I teach people how to dry fire a gun. It's a good training mechanism. You get up, you go get a glass of water, and you come back, you must assume that the load fairy came in and put bullets in your gun. Always, always, always assume the gun is loaded. Therefore, if for some reason it is discharged, you were not completely taken aback, and two, you weren't pointing at anything you didn't wish to harm. All right. So whatever the issue is with a safety is one element of a safe course of action when utilizing firearms. I really do know my stuff in this regard. I it's unbelievable all the information that I've accumulated over the years. Social work, law, firearms, uh, what else? Meditation and Buddhism. Um, I don't know, man. Sometimes I surprise myself. I was teaching meditation last night, and I said, some of you are inquisitive about Buddhism, and I'm sorry, but I'm no teacher of Buddhism. Good luck. I'll give you a couple of books to tell you what to go out and get. That's where you should get your Buddhism, not from me. And then I realized when I started meditating, I made myself sound like I really didn't know anything about Buddhism, which isn't true. I know it. I know a lot about Buddhism. I just don't like teaching Buddhism. I like teaching meditation, and that is Buddhist origin, but I don't like teaching Buddhism. So I apologized later on and said, I actually know a lot about Buddhism. I've studied it. So anyways, here's the thing. I've accumulated a buttload of information about a variety of subjects, most of which don't hold me in good stead anymore, but did at some time in my life. Okay? By the way, some guy called me up this afternoon. Nice. He's a newcomer to 12-step recovery, and he's been coming to my morning meditation. And he said, I just want to thank you. That's been really helpful. He's only been there twice, I think. And he said, I've been using it. And he said, it's really helpful. I know, Chris. Chris is saying it was hard to hear me on Zoom last night, or the other instructor. I just don't know. I'm not sure how to facilitate Zooming an in-person group meditation so that people who are on Zoom are getting some benefit from it. Just going to have to keep trying. I don't know. If people aren't satisfied, they hang up. It's not costing me anything, but I'm trying. Well, it's 6:43. You all know what that means. Time for some loving kindness. Man, oh man, if I got some loving kindness for you. So this guy who called, he said, by the way, could you send me that prayer you do at the end of every meditation? Talking about the loving kindness. And I said, well, actually, no, because the one I do, I created. I created on the foundation of many years of reciting the traditional meditation. I mean, the traditional metta, but I have modified it for modern times. So I told him I will send him the classic version, which is a little different. All right, let's put our hands together before our hearts. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes and take a deep breath. And think to ourselves, may I be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May I be free from anger, anxiety, and fear. May this practice of ours lead me to greater peace and comfort in my life. May my mother and father and all my living family members and all my friends be happy, healthy, free from all harm. May they too find a path that guides them to a life of greater peace and comfort. And to those persons I find difficult, whatever resentment or ill will I may still harbor, I'm still willing to send goodwill to these persons, thinking of who they are, and then sending them metta. May they be happy, healthy, and free from harm, enjoying their lives in peace and comfort. And to all living beings, wherever they may be throughout the entire universe, humans and non-humans, may they be happy, healthy, and free from harm. May all living beings be able to live out their lives in safety, comfort, and peace. Satu, Satu, Satu. Well, you're welcome, Rachel and Kathy and Joan. Chris, I know you appreciate it. You're a man. You're a man. And thank you, Becky. And there's some people missing in action. I didn't see. I know Kathy's with us. I thank Kathy. But I didn't see Lisa. There's Rachel. Thank you. I didn't see Tammy. Maybe she stuck around. If she is, thank you, Tammy, Ann, and Mark. But there's some people that have traditionally been there, not so much today, but that's okay. I think we had a good crowd, and I personally felt fine. Electrodes to the brain, man. Talk about some synapse, baby. I got some synapse going. Or as I say, I'll blow my brains out. Okay, better go before I hurt myself.